You're not in Guatemala now, Dr. Ropata.
What do you do with a bunch of cops like these? One's a kleptomaniac. One's a compulsively violent ventriloquist. One's addicted to danger. And their leader's a transplanted Cajun who makes up his own rules as he goes along. What do you do with a bunch of cops like these? Give them a psychiatrist and pray.
Will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole. God's going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. You're going to have a flame coming out of your butthole. If you thought that AIDS was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Jerry!
Are you guys ready? Go. Chicken, eagle, snake. Chicken, eagle, snake. Chicken, eagle, snake. Chicken, eagle, snake.
Had a little bit of money, so the Lord did me good. Got all kind of shit. Got the glow sticks, I got the gotcha bag, got the Hawaiian punch. Man, everybody won't holler at Pop what you need. I got it. If I ain't got it, I can find it, you understand? I'm selling glow sticks. Glow sticks that go with the yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Have sex, excel. Put my hands against, put my best of best, put my 10 a 10, or put my spend a spend. Have sex, excel. Ultimately fully cash show. Voila. Petting and it and the best. Wanna have you hear me? I wanna have you hear me say it. Welcome to the Bombadcast.
What's up, Bombad fam? Hello. It's another Bombad Thursday. And you know what? We're back. We're back together. I know it's been a little hard in our split household. You know, one kid has to go over here to this parent's house for the holidays. Another parent has to go over to this bar to see that guy about the thing that he needs to see, you know, to pay him before they take his kneecaps. But we're back. We're back together at the start of a new, fresh year, 2025. And, I can't do this without my buddy boy. I mean, well, apparently we both can because we each did it like 2 consecutive weeks in a row. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring him in here. I love him. I missed him. It's been too long. It feels like I haven't seen this man in 10 years. Scotty Jaro, everybody. Let's bring that wonderful, beautiful man in here. Hold on. I'm going to give him an intro. What kind of intro should we give for Scotty? Let me see. Hold on. I got one.
You shall kneel before.
All right!
That's right. That's right. In this house, we stand for we kneel for the pledge and stand for the flag.
3 things. First thing.
Thrice. First thing.
I missed you. First thing, I missed you.
I missed you.
Second thing, I love you.
I love you too.
And third thing, you're my bomb bad boy, and I missed you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, bomb bad boy, bomb bad boy, bomb bad boy. Yeah, bomb bad boy. What bomb bad boy? Look at the live chat. The live chat's popping off. I'd love to see the live chat. Bomb bad popping, and we actually have a very important. This is a very important thing tonight. Obviously we're talking Skeleton Crew, but a good friend of the show, our guest this evening, Jarod the Dark Jedi, got a burning in your butthole.
Yeah. I do, but that's because I had Wendy's tonight. So
a good friend of the show, Jarod the Dark Jedi. Of course, he is actually there's a co-shared stream, which is Jarod is currently broadcasting to TNAP as well. So we're on the TNAP.
We're on both.
Right,
we're on both. I think
crazy?
I'm even learning this right now because I've been so busy the last week. But this is
rub your nipples for it.
Oh, what's up, TNAP?
TNAP! Anyway, TNAP. TNAP.
That's a lot of friction.
It is. Ooh. I'm so excited for this next graphic, and I'm going to bring him in. He's going to have some few words.
I'm excited. I haven't seen this.
Here we go. The one and only great friend, currently on his page right now, Jarod, my biggest rival, the Dark Jedi. Do your intro, plug the damn margarita mix, whatever.
Hello there, patrons. Hello there. Welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic, the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary, where your favorite nerds talk all things about the galaxy far, far away. I am your host on one of these channels, Jarod the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, a name that I am not 100% sure Scotty can actually pronounce because you have whiffed on Bachman and we have been friends for 5 years.
Bachman.
I've never heard you say Bachman correctly, and I think it's adorable. It is every reason why I still use the nickname The Dark Jedi is because people struggle with Bachman. But yeah, we're over on both channels, as Scotty said. To do the plug real quick, if you guys want to get your Bloody Mary on and up your Bloody Mary game, go to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop, where you can get their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix, as well as their mild and traditional mixes if the spice ain't for you. You can also get their other award-winning pickled dilly beans, okra, and asparagus, and rim salt if you want to get your freak on and garnish that bad boy. This former bartender trusts only one Bloody Mary mix on the planet, and it is Sundays. So use the link in the description down below and use code TNAP at checkout to get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. I wasn't going to do the Sundays Bloody Mary plug, but Scotty told me to, so here we are.
Well, and Sundays Bloody Mary, if you're looking for any other, weird nerds or anything, hey, yeah. But listen, Jarod, I think that you should this should be the applause sign for TNAP right here. This should, how like they used to play, like they turn on the applause sign for the audience.
Yeah, thank you for saying I need an applause sign.
No, you should. This should pop up randomly, like rub your nips for Cookie Cop, kids. There we go.
This is it. Here's the applause sign. You ready?
Where is he?
That's from the Cookie Cup.
Is Diaz here?
No, Diaz is not here.
Okay.
Don't get too excited.
I know.
He was invited,
if it was him, I know it would have been fucking Cult of Personality.
Hey.
That was a funny story, real quick, Bombad fam. I don't know if you saw it happen in Goon, Scotty, because I think you were at work.
Yes.
One of my coworkers at the day job was on the Bluetooth speaker in the back, and his name's Joe. He's also a big wrestling fan.
Nice.
And he just had his music on shuffle, and Cult of Personality came on while I was in the stock room.
Your neck twisted around.
Dude, I joke with Taylor because CM Punk has also become one of my favorite wrestlers.
Uh-huh.
And I love that music, but I do legitimately, every time I hear that, I'm like, whoa. Like there's a little part of me that goes into
You're just like
response.
Jarod just like is in the middle of his stock room going, ah!
I'm like, I legit like I'm like carrying a box to like do like all like the ship out orders, and I and I like went like I actually just took like a sharp breath in, and I just kind of like peered around. I'm like, okay.
He's not. It's not him.
Real world doesn't work like WWE Raw. I'm safe. Okay.
Okay,
set it
so
down.
let's take a second. I challenged our audience, and in particular one person, and I said, what is the total number Jarod has officially been on the show? Now, this is not counting crossover events. This is not counting any sort of call-ins to my imagination, unless that person who did the research otherwise can tell us wrong. But we have reached an all-time guest number. I'm sure there's numbers of people who've showed up. I know my cousin Troy's been on at least 10 times. I know Eric Cotterman's been on at least 10 times. I know Alden's been on probably at least 20 to 30. Michael's been on. I think Michael may have the most from what our researchers said, but I don't know if I believe that necessarily. I just don't know if I believe that. But the winner of having the most appearances is right before you. And not that there's a competition, but we've been reflecting on our 5 years of Bombadcast, coming up on 6 years, which is just 2020. That is not even funny. That is disgusting. But we made a graphic.
6 and 5.
We made a graphic. We need to celebrate our boy. Jarod, welcome to your 40th appearance. He did it.
You did it. Over the hill. You're over that hill.
You did it. I love happy clapping Jarod right there. Here he
all
is.
with the same laptop. See all the stickers, all there.
All the stickers, all there, all the time. Happy 40th, Jarod. How does it feel? 40 times on this goofy show.
40 times on the show.
I'm deeply proud of it. Listen, you guys occupy a space within the fandom, within the semi-pro like pundit community that we're all in.
Yeah.
That is deeply unique. You know, it is truly like I don't like I there's not another Star Wars, show, be it on YouTube or a traditional podcast, that you can find, we're going to watch the damn MTV premiere of The Phantom Menace.
That's true.
And hey, fuck Star Wars, it's eggs tonight. Or Star Wars be damned, we're watching the McDonald's VHSs. Like there's a uniqueness and a pride in letting your freak flag fly.
That's right, Jarod.
Hey, we are the one Star Wars show that is not afraid to tell Star Wars to go blow itself while we watch someone cook eggs. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, and the whole time, like Boba Fett is leering in the background and whatnot, but like, there's always Star Wars injected into the veins of this show, but it is so much more than just that. And to be part of the community that you guys have fostered, I do truly think that Bombadcast, again, in terms of like networking and the C word content, like this is true of Bombad, but in terms of like the community and the friendships that we have forged that take place off camera, Bombadcast is the linchpin of that. I know Regan's in the chat. She jokes and says it's like the Jarod cinematic universe. It's the Bombad cinematic universe. If you guys are the Iron Man that gets shit going, maybe I'm the Captain America, baby. But no, I'm honored to be a part of this show. I'm honored to be part of like the story of this show with that many appearances. And again, so much has spawned out of what we have all done together. Like this is obviously Epic Confrontations is Eli's baby. And we're all proud to be a part of that. But like Epic Confrontation starts on Bombadcast.
There you go.
It was born here. It was born on this show with that first match. And like there are so many other things that we can like reverse engineer back to conversations that happened here, or ideas that we all kind of birthed together that then come to fruition here.
Bombad Court, one of them, which is going to
Court.
make a return once Skeleton Crew's over. There's all these things that we've been lucky
We have
enough
a very
to all work
special
on
episode
together.
of Bombad Court we want to do that again, you guys so graciously said we won't do it until I have Studio 2.0 fully finished.
That's
because we were talking about how we want to do like lightsaber duels ranked, and how I'm going to be a fucking menace during that.
Yeah.
With a lot of opinions I don't think a lot of people are gonna like. Battle of the Heroes is grossly overrated.
I've seen.
But no, I'm absolutely honored to be a part. Like I said, a part of Bad Lore. Like we've joked. If there's an unofficial third and fourth host, it's me and McCoy.
100% always has been. And just 40 isn't a big number. And like I was thinking about it in terms of amount in the sense of like a year. So if Bombadcast, and I think the number is 50 times a year, because we only take about 2 weeks off usually. We usually take the
typically
this December time, but since Skeleton Crew's around, we took it
very
off
consistent.
in August. Yeah. We're always weekly, and you have almost made a full year of doing Bombadcast streams. Just like 5 or 6 more, and you would have done a full year of being, and that constitutes a third host for the most part to me personally. You may not be in all the creative discussions, but you are certainly always in the chat, and you're certainly always a part of this conversation emotionally and behind the scenes. And we love you, Jared. There's no one else I'd rather. This is a special title. 40 is pretty wild.
If I may make a very lofty comparison about myself, as somebody who has been a podcast addict for the better part of a decade, in particular, very like passionate podcast fan bases, things like Behind the Bastards and Knowledge Fight.
Yeah,
there is always like a moment in the community when a certain type of episode comes out or a certain guest is on. For Knowledge Fight, it's the deposition episodes, or when the lawyers who represented the Sandy Hook families show up on the podcast to talk about stuff. On Behind the Bastards, there's a number of guests where it's like everybody drop everything. Billy Wayne Davis is on the show this week. Everybody drop everything. Prop is on the show. And I feel very nice that as a fan of the show, I get to be like, oh, it's a Jarod episode this week.
Yes, dude.
Which as a shout out to another channel that I collaborate with very often, Comic Book Cast, is the exact opposite. As I was on 2 episodes of Comic Book Cast in a row to talk about The Boys and then The Acolyte. And one of the top comments on, I believe it was The Boys review, was, "Dear God, I beg of you, no more Jarod episode."
Wow. I hope they don't really feel that way.
I hope they do, because I'm on CBC a lot. So.
Yeah. You might as well be a third host.
I think we got that with no Scotty episodes the week that Scotty was gone. I think
that's true.
Yeah.
So okay,
listen, CBC
like, please,
does
no
the
more
thing
no
that you
Scotty.
guys joke about with TNAP, where you're like, TNAP has like 80 people. It's like TNAP and Bro Axiom are like the Wu-Tang clans of nerd podcasts.
Yes.
CBC is the real Wu-Tang clan.
The true Wu-Tang clan.
They have just a whole fucking army of people. But anyway, thank you very much. I am honored for the 40th
I love you.
episode here. I love you.
I'm so glad to
I
have
love
you
you.
here.
I didn't get to really dote upon you myself,
Please
but yeah, I love you a lot, and I think that you're a fantastic person, a fantastic host, and yeah, I can't. But here's to 40 more right here.
40 more. Let's do it. 40 more. I got my Maison Perrier. Okay, fellas. Before we talk about this episode, I know we kind of been talking for the last 20 minutes just about Jarod alone. But let's talk about this. Any cool things happen for Christmas or New Year's? Anything fun? Any gifts you want to show off real quick? I have some things I want to show. But anyone else want to show anything? Anything cool? Any good stories, Jerry? Jerry, you have. Well, we'll tell you yours later. I know you have a good story about Ella.
Taylor, you're watching. Can you please bring me the lightsaber?
Bring in the lightsaber, Taylor.
Bring in the saber.
I'll tell you what. One cool thing that I got. There's a really addicting app. I do not recommend it though. If you do want it, I'll put my reference link in the chat. There's an app that I told these guys about called Whatnot. And I'm literally going to put it in the chat. And if anyone wants to join it, it's pretty fun. I'm not going to lie. Essentially what this app is, imagine if TikTok and eBay were to form into one thing, and like you can bid on things live while someone's live streaming like a TikTok stream. It is very addicting. As these gentlemen know, I have bought 2 posters off of it, right? I bought an Indiana Jones poster, and I bought a Japanese Star Wars poster, all from the same company and the same people. And it's a really fun app, but it can get you drawn in. I will warn you, it draws you in. But they have a referral system that's really cool. And this is where I think is this may actually, some of you might be like, cool, I want to check it out. Even if you click and join the referral, you have to buy at least one thing, but you still have the opportunity to get money. So what happens is, let's say if one of y'all, so that's the link, if one of y'all click on it and you join it, even if you don't buy something immediately, it gives you so many dollars as rewards. So like I sent it to Katie, my wife, and she clicked on it and it gave her $200. Well, since she got a free $200, that then gave me $200. So I decided to buy myself something that I've always wanted to own for a Christmas gift to myself. And I only have a disc right now. It hasn't came in yet. I bought myself a Sega Dreamcast.
Oh, that's so cool. I had a Dreamcast when I was a kid.
Always wanted to play it. I never even played a Dreamcast before. So I bought that for myself. And I want to show you all this. I bought this because it has Jarod on it. This just gives me Jarod vibes. It's like a look how big this dude's like arms are. Look at this. Yeah, bring me. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Dude,
Look at that.
Dude, how wide?
That's what I look like in your mind.
This is how you look, Jarod.
The bucket hat and all, man. I mean, it's
I do have a bucket hat. I do want a Roosevelt's bucket hat.
There's a better image of this guy, but like I bought this at a old retro game store, and it's literally, this is so Jerry. This description: style, speed, psycho stunts, spectacularly sick graphics, trick style, takes you on the race of your life. I don't know. If anyone wants to join my dude, click the Whatnot app, please, if you want to. But there's a better graphic of this guy on his skateboard. Let's see.
Hold on, let's see it here. You got it.
This is
things
Jarod
I famously do skateboard.
This is just Jarod to me. I don't know why. That's just
Well,
Jarod Y2K.
Cool,
oh, I mean, you can be, but this was my look. There you go. It's giving the Backstreet Boys Burger King toys.
It vibes. Really is.
It really
is.
It's
Backstreet Boys Burger King meets like Vegeta's armor.
Vegeta's armor.
Backstreet Burger King boys.
See, look, and that's all I wanted to say is I got that. Oh, and I bought myself this book as well from the same site, but it was really cheap. It was $6, so it was like no money spent. This is dope. We're gonna have to do this on Bombadcast.
I've one of those like.
Yes,
I loved those books,
dude.
As a kid, man.
These are
holy shit,
great, dude.
I had
amazing.
See, I didn't have the planets. I had the Essential Guide to Creatures and Characters.
Oh, I want that one because this one's so good, and it's like super 90s. Like it's all like, and they're all
the drawings. I would stare at those drawings for hours.
Yeah, the character one had some pictures of like Legends characters that like you never really saw anywhere else.
Exactly. Like I don't even know what drawl. These are the preschool draw. I don't know, but if I were to ever use, like if they said, Scott,
that looks like me and you.
Actually. You are more than welcome to write it. It does. You are more than welcome to write a Star Wars story one day. I would just flip this book because like this is one planet. Literally, it's called Fryer. like Fryer.
You have to go to the tire iron system.
Dude, look at that. How crazy is that? But anyway, I just blue ski. But no, that was my cool. Dude, this is actually Jerry and I. What the fuck?
Hold on. If one of them was a little taller, yeah, absolutely.
Galantos. But like, Jerry, we're gonna be looking at this book. So for those that don't know, if you haven't looked at this book, it's a gold mine. Those books. It's a gold mine. But anyway, boys, how was y'all's Christmases?
My Christmas was wonderful. Taylor's playing with it currently. So this was actually kind of a Christmas present I accidentally got for myself. I'll turn it off for 1 second. Shouts out to Level Up Sabers. Alan White runs this store. So he did his big 12 Days of Sithmas event that I was lucky enough to win a saber from. It was basically like, if I sell X amount of sabers, these people will get ones for free. And I was lucky enough to win his lightsaber called Knuckles, which those of you who watch Ionized Bastards will know. This is exactly how I describe Fabian Marchel's lightsaber. And I was like, oh, I so want that one. So he entered me in for the drawing. I believe Taylor has it on the Okay. I'm holding it down. Yeah, Taylor was very insistent on me turning it on the Sailor Moon sound font. But yeah, so it was like Sailor Moon one. It's got a shit ton of sound fonts, like more than I know what to do with.
For a long time.
There's like a blinking one. It's like just absolute color spectrum. I'm gonna wait to see if I get another good one.
You hard to get rid of.
Yeah, like there's like the Ray one. It is absolutely incredible. But level up sabers, huh? What? Turn it on. Yeah, this thing is so.
Oh, look at Taylor clutch.
Yeah, I absolutely love this
Producer.
thing. So
Producer Taylor.
producer extraordinaire. But
Producer
yeah, no,
Miss
this
Taylor.
is from Level Up Sabers. Go check out Alan's store. Like I said, I won that one. The coolest Christmas presents I got. I told you guys about these off air. Chad, is this Riz? Yes, it is. So my dad got me a couple of certified autographs. They have their, authenticity certification here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll save that one for a second. One of the ones he got me was this really cool art of Vincent Vega and Jules Winfield with certified
so cool.
Sam Jackson and John Travolta autographs.
Wow.
But the one coolest to this show, even though one of those is also a Star Wars actor, is this certified Mark Hamill autograph on some Last Jedi promo art.
Oh, the TLJ art is so phenomenal.
See, Last Jedi Luke is that's my spirit animal. That's who I'm gonna be in like 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, I also got like 8 Roosevelts for Christmas, and a number of other very awesome things that I'm very grateful for. But that lightsaber and these autographs are
good gifts, man.
Just absolutely
very
fantastic.
For those that don't know, Jared's favorite season is Christmas, like genuinely, not even
I live for Christmas time.
It's just that's what he lives for. He loves Christmas, and and
capitalism, Christmas.
Shut up! For 30 fucking seconds. Let me have a little bit of joy.
No, you're good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That saber, and I'm not trying to dog on Star Wars or Lucasfilm or whoever or Disney, but if they could make sabers that good, I think it'd be hard to resist buying one every major holiday.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunately they just
Taylor's giving it back. I think she got it to another sound font. No, you didn't.
No, that was the Force.
You're good, honey. I don't want to keep disrupting. You're good. I can't be trusted with this thing. I'll keep interrupting her. We're already 30 minutes in.
That's my thing though. Is options, right? Most of these. Like, I love my Obi-Wan one because it's high quality and feels nice. I know you love your Ben Solo one, Jerry, but like it's still like it's just a one-trick pony. Turns on, turns off.
Yeah. And that thing has so many like features. Like it.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how like most lightsabers will light up when you hit them?
Mm-hmm.
That one lights up where you hit the blade.
Contact. Yeah, contact point.
It's like the contact light. That one doesn't have it, but most of the other sabers that Level Up sells, it has a feature called tip drag. So when you like scrape the tip of the blade along, it will like crackle like a lightsaber being dragged across the ground. But again, all the sound
wow.
Those sabers, they're just off the wall insane. And I understand that like Disney and Hasbro and whomever like have to mass produce them. So like the super small machine parts and like all of the sound fonts, like I'm sure the overhead for a company that is already producing that many toys would probably be insane to go that crazy on.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a controversial take to say that the third party non-Disney affiliated lightsaber stores are outboxing Lucasfilm and Disney and Hasbro at every turn.
Exactly. They just are. And you can't blame them. And I mean, and it makes sense because you can get away with it when you're not the company making it, if that makes, you know what I mean? That like you can have more options. Unfortunately, it would confuse pretty casual people whenever you like would change it from Rey to even like the shade of Yoda's green lightsaber is different than the shade of Qui-Gon's green lightsaber. And like casuals, not to be mean, would get stuck on that kind of thing.
They'd be happy with one of those. They'd be happy with the generic space light sword from Dollar General, you know?
No, now we're just being mean. Here you go, little guy. Whoa, the 2-player controller. And you just
it lights up.
Yeah, just not even plugged in. No,
It's like the movie.
No, we're gonna get into dangerous territory. Jerry, I want to hear about your Christmas because I know you had the absolute honor to spend it with your daughter this year, and I love that.
Oh yeah,
that is
it
awesome.
was a long visit for Christmas, and I loved it because it was my weekend and Christmas coincided, and so we got to smash it all together. So that was fantastic.
That's awesome.
But I mean, listen, I didn't get much this year, and that's fine. Whatever. Like my parents are they're gonna pay for me. We're gonna get some photos taken professionally this spring. So that was that's what I asked for. I wanted to get some like nice professional
family photos.
That's what we're gonna do. Yeah. Yeah, so we can have some good family photos and stuff of this time. But I got Ellie a ton of like, Pokemon, all kinds of stuff like that. So it was just like that was the fun stuff. That was the fun stuff, is like just getting to celebrate with her, and then going to see, this was Bombad. We went and watched Sonic 3 together, Christmas Day, which I hate chastising workers on Christmas Day, on a day they should be with their families. But we were nice and we cleaned up our stuff and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
we cleaned up after ourselves. But fast forward to this. Can we talk about New Year's? Because that's what I guess I need to wait to talk about my New Year's experience or something, unless we want to just
let's lead into it.
Like
Dude, let's lead into it. Yeah.
So here's how we will lead into our episode 6 discussion today.
Let me get the graphic.
Here we go. Look at that. Still looking for him. We found him in the first 2 episodes, but we're still looking for him again.
Where did he go? He was there. We found him. Now he's gone.
Yeah. Again. And then he was like, him and his family just like, blew off. And what are we going to do now? But anyway, I had the absolute honor of watching the premiere of a Star Wars show with my daughter for the first time. She's been really into Skeleton Crew, more so than she's been into like anything else. It's kind of felt like I've kind of like, done a little coaxing, like, hey,
yeah,
you're gonna love this. I think you'll like this. This I was a little bit like that, but like I think for one thing, I think Neil in the trailers really helped, because Neil is a little cutie and she loves Neil. He's funny and cute. It's a double whammy. So it really, really helped. But she's really been enjoying it with like the piratey type stuff, the adventure, the treasure. The kids are really great. I think she can really connect to these kids, because like, she's younger, obviously, but I just really think that vibe of just like a kid kind of out on their own, like in the adventure that you dream of when you're a little kid,
100%,
kind of a thing, 100%. Really, really like speaks to her. Anyway, so I don't really get to watch the premieres with her, because usually, like, again, we've just started this whole thing. We're dropping on like just this last year or the year before, like 2024 Tuesday is when we really started dropping on a weeknight, right? And like at like 9 p.m. Eastern or something like that, when you could actually watch it before 3 a.m. So we haven't really got to like sit down and watch a premiere together for the first time together. So we got to experience this Star Wars together for the first time as father and daughter.
Wild.
And I hyped her up. What absolutely made my heart soar is she was excited when I told her. She's like, "Oh, we get to watch it together the first time. That's awesome." Okay. The whole time she's sitting like glued to my side, right? We're like sitting there on the edge of the couch, not laid back. We're on the edge of the couch, just like watching this thing, right? And like, I mean, first of all, what a great episode to like have
with a kid
with me for the first time, when it's just mainly the kids, right? It's mainly what they're going through. It's mainly like them dealing with issues and stuff. And of course we're laughing, because Neil's falling. I'm getting really good at falling and stuff, kind of things like that. She was like, she went and got like way up to the TV though. Whenever like Wim was starting to help KB fix her OGs and stuff, her implants and stuff, she got like way close. She went like halfway, like between the couches at the back of the room. She got in the middle of the room on the rug, is like looking up there, like just like watching intently.
So good.
Okay. And I'm telling you, this is a big overview of the whole episode, but this is through my kids' eyes. Okay. this is, she comes back. Look, by the time they are like, we got to save our ship, we got to get on the ship, when they hit the demolition sequencer and the ship pulls out of there, we both were, she goes, oh, it's like a snake skin kind of a thing. I'm like, whoa. I was like, yeah, it is, isn't it? It's crazy. That was like, that's cool. And just, man, you can't. And then after it was over, she was humming the
little did you
like
know,
the little like it's just like she's never done that. This is like the most that she's like been into this.
Yes,
so it really, really spoke to my heart.
I wanted to say this is something that's very rare that with the shows, I know that you haven't had the privilege to, but like she hasn't had her first movie in the theaters yet for the Star Wars, right?
Not that for the, well, so we watched episode 1.
Yeah.
But hold on, my headphones are dying here. We watched that in the theaters, but it was like there was like a bar at this area we went to go, and she couldn't like there. So there was like a bar. She's so short. Yeah. Like there was a bar at the bottom half of the screen. And so I don't think she really like enjoyed that.
Much, because but
it's also not like a movie like of her time. Like,
no,
I think she understands, like, I could also go home and watch this. Like,
right.
She hasn't had that moment of like, oh my God.
When Mando and Grogu, when I know as many people are giving that a hard time of like the action figures, that will be her first, probably, this is the first time we're seeing it in the theater. Anyone's seeing it. And she was like all excited about, I was like, everyone's watching it for the first time right now. And she goes, right now. And she was like, her eyes got big, like, everyone's watching this right now. Like, yeah, right now.
I get emotional over the prospect of the fact that Mando and Grogu will be the first new Star Wars movie I get to see with Taylor.
Like, that's true.
Like, I get emotional. Beautiful. I will see like news will break about Mando and Grogu, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so excited for this. And I'll look at her and I'll be like, I'm seeing this 5 times opening weekend, and I hope you're there for 3 of them, and we're going to see like the earliest showing we can. And the more I talk about it too, the more I get welled up about it. I can't imagine for a moment like the just power of like, hey kiddo, we're going to go see the new Star Wars. You know these guys from the TV. We watch this on a little box in our living room.
Yep.
Now we're going to go see him in a movie theater. And it's Baby Yoda, and you love Baby Yoda. And we're going to, like, I can't imagine just that, the magic that will be there. And again, as much as people want to do the whole action figure slamming into each other discourse that I think is old hat and boring and in bad faith, like, say that all you want. Like, we are going to hit this very interesting terminal velocity of the TV characters are going to become movie characters, and the kids that have grown up on Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, whatever, what have you, like that's going to be a watershed moment for these kids, and it's going to be completely new territory.
Oh yeah,
Star Wars. Again, it was a big deal for us as adults who have been like about this life for how many decades, when it's like, ooh, Saw Gerrera's in Rogue One, and ooh, Ahsoka's in this TV show, and this kid, and we hear Kanan's voice in The Rise of Scott. Like that's big for us. We are making the huge jump that is going to be, again, like a level of buildup and payoff for kids that we have never seen. That is so patently different from the build-up for every single era we've had before. And I'm so excited for her and for you guys to have that moment to see Baby Yoda. That's going to be remarkable.
I'm so psyched, man. And it's just like, this episode was just fucking great. It's it's just full of the magic, man. It's got like this, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just, again, we got to let the newness wear off, I think, a little bit, maybe. But this feels like it has the most Star Wars magic of anything.
It does, dude.
For a long time. Like even before Force Awakens, I don't know. Maybe that's controversial to say or something. I mean, they all have the magic, but you know what I mean? Like there's some like secret sauce or something.
I think with the Force Awakens, you were anticipating magic and you got magic. Whereas with this show, we didn't know how magical it was going to be and how they were going to pull it off in this particular way. And like, and the ways that it has been magical were in the most unexpected ways possible, but it's still that same exact premise of like, okay, this is an Amblin story. So like, you're going to have the first little crush kiss moment, or you could have the flashlights in the forest thing, but the whole kid having a medical emergency, or like the kid that loses his inhaler, or the kid that's diabetic, all that trope came out this week. And in this way, it's I don't know, this show is masking super serious storytelling through the lens of children. And I don't think people, even as viewers, give children the credit where it's due. Because kids, when they watch media or any sort of story, sometimes they get more out of it than the adults, i.e. the Phantom Menace in 1999. You know what I mean? Like, we're all products of that age, and Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones. And then now we're the ones that are probably the best speakers on that subject, you know, because this is what we grew up with. Now the kids that are growing up with this show, obviously they're going to have their own takes and thoughts and heart towards this as well. But, you know, the fact that it's kids doing the difficult things is just such a great concept, because we haven't had that yet in Star Wars. You know, we haven't had a medical emergency from the perspective of a child. Ever.
Right.
Well, I think with regards to that secret sauce,
Mhm.
you know, I think that, and take or leave this as to whether or not you think it's a good thing, a bad thing, or just a thing, that is like devoid of like a qualifier there. There is how do I put this? Star Wars in the modern era, Rebels to now.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that has not been missing, again, not necessarily a qualifier of good or bad, I think has been that sense of wonder from the characters within the narrative. Because with the exception of Rey getting her first really big bite of the big, bad, wonderful galaxy in The Force Awakens, everything since then has been an exploration of people living a life that they've already been living. And again, that's not necessarily a good or bad or whatever thing. It is just the reality of it. If you look at all of the major story pieces of Star Wars media and stories that have been told for so long, you know, again, we get a little bit of Force Awakens, but again, Rey has been living her life. Like, she has already lived a full life, that like that sense of wonder is kind of in theory, and she gets a little bit of it, and then she is thrust into the adventure to the point where she can't really take it in that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of the sequel trilogy is a continuation of her story. Rogue One, there is not a sense of wonder for the characters within the story in Rogue One, nor Solo, nor a lot of the other shows. Again, you have little pockets of it, you know, with Grogu especially, and you get pockets of it with Omega. But like in the Bad Batch, but throughout this storytelling, for the most part, it has been like slice of life action adventure told from the perspective of people who know their way around this galaxy for the most part. And here it is these kids, you know, and I love the joke that people love to make about Din Djarin. You know, Din Djarin's never seen Star Wars. What's a Jedi? You know, like that whole thing. That's these kids for real, though. You know, they're like, what, you know, like, oh, hey, let's go to Alderaan. Ooh, you know, like stuff like that.
No idea.
Where they are experiencing Star Wars the way we did as kids, because it is brand new to them. They know these names, they know these words, you know, but like they don't understand the galaxy around them. Like, there is a sense of what the fuck is that when they see an X-wing. And that isn't something that has really been in Star Wars in the last however many years, like 12 years. And again, I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, but I think it is a piece of the equation that has kind of not been focused on. And I think that is what adds to this, again, overwhelming sense of wonder that defines Skeleton Crew.
It's such a digestible show too, because it's so cut and dry. I mean, there's nuance, but like the story elements are very much how do I say this without sounding like I'm demeaning, like being demeaning to the show? There is a lot of subtext and a lot of nuance in the show, and obviously it spawned us talking about it for the last 20 minutes. But I'm speaking strictly from the sense of like, there's a little girl who has a medical condition. And like, this is real life stuff I've seen as a teacher, you know, and the whole idea of like, you know, you honestly get the least dependable kid to handle that situation, even in a classroom. That least dependable kid, no matter what, will step up to the plate and handle it because they know it's important. They know it's crucial. And he doesn't know how close that, you know, KB is to death. But in that moment, total system shutdown pretty much means she was going to die if he did not do this properly. And like, you know, thanks, Jedi. And like, that whole scene, I literally was I did a gig New Year's and I was crying, laying in bed after doing a DJ gig on this iPad this close to my face, like, this is so beautiful and pure.
I didn't cry the first time. Like literally, as you sent me the StreamYard link, Scotty, Taylor was getting caught up, and I was just standing in the hallway watching the end of that moment. And with the like, I thought it'd be excited for you to save somebody's life. Thanks, Jedi. And I'm like, I'm gonna go get on Bombad now.
Because that's what it means to be a Jedi.
It took me till this time too. I was gonna say I didn't cry quite the first time with Ellie and stuff like that, but yeah, this time definitely. Yeah, that line of "It's not always exciting to save someone's life."
I mean, wonderful. It's all about courage. It has nothing to do with like the actual act of saving someone's life. It is
excitement,
the courage
adventure.
that takes.
Jedi craves not these things, you know. And I think, if I may interrupt for a moment, it's one of the things that I've loved about Wim as a character. That, you know, I was thinking about, because like Taylor had to catch up on like the last 3 episodes or so. So like getting to rewatch them, you know, I had this moment that obviously was kind of started gestating whenever we have Jod quote Qui-Gon last week. But that beat of Jod hitting the, you know, your focus determines your reality, it occurred to me just how much Wim like needs to hear from a Jedi like Qui-Gon, and how much of like Wim's behavior like is a direct throwback to specifically wisdom from Qui-Gon Jinn. Like how early into this show could Wim have used a, you know, keep your thoughts in the here and now where they belong? How many times could Wim have needed to hear, feel, don't think, trust your instincts? You know, don't just think about the story you want to tell, take in the situation around you and like feel what's right. And, you know, then you get like, again, the bastardization of what attachments are, and which I think is just such an incredible beat for Jod.
Yeah.
That I could talk about for hours alone, that one scene. But again, it's your focus determines your reality, and how like specifically Qui-Gon's teachings that I think in a very funny way culminates in this episode, where Wim looks at the trash crabs that are going to lead him and KB to their fiery, horrible fucking death. What does he say about the trash crabs? Well, they speak, so they have to be intelligent.
Yeah, they're intelligent. Yeah,
literally, literally. The Phantom
Menace. The ability to speak does not mean one is intelligent. No. Like it is like literally like in every episode, Wim kind of throws back to a Qui-Gon line.
That's really beautiful. I didn't even consider.
And
I
was like, that's something. That's something, dude. Isn't it?
That's amazing, huh? It's just the idea.
He needs those Jedi teachings. Like he wants it so bad, but he doesn't realize that like the things that make a Jedi, Eli, screen record this. I'm going to say nice things about Yoda. You know, again, it's, you know, excitement, adventure. Jedi craves not these things. And it's like this, the world around him trying to teach Wim, like, you can be like a Jedi.
Yes.
Like the charge of a Jedi is to not do like cartwheels in the air and swing a laser sword. It is helping people. It is listening to the people around you and like helping yourself through helping them. And
that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not outward, it's inward. It has nothing to do with what you're doing on the outside. If you're on the inside and you're doing everything that's justifiable and good on the inside, like, you know, the fact that he's saving these kids and the fact that, you know, he's trying to be courageous. He may not be outwardly courageous, but inwardly he is, you know, like with the whole lightsaber ignition, that whole thing is like, he wants something more than to be that courageous person. And he does. It's not effective, but he does it. And the same thing happens when he has to save, you know, KB. And I don't know, that was a huge moment for me. That just deep down.
And I love that we get episode wise back to back Wim being courageous, stepping up to the plate, and being ready to square up with Jod. Again, it does not matter that Wim was holding the lightsaber upside down and almost cuts his fucking leg
Which
off.
is great.
You know, which is hilarious.
Amazing.
It doesn't matter that he completely botched that situation. That child picked up a lightsaber and said, "I'm gonna beat your ass. Get
Yes.
away from my friend."
Yeah.
And
Right.
juxtaposing again, like you said, like it is like, okay, I'm gonna do the highfalutin action thing and
Right.
kill this guy versus, okay, I need to focus, I need to lock in, I need to listen and let you guide me, and I just saved your life.
Well,
and he's juxtaposing those two moments is just brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and he's already like, by the end of this episode, it's already setting in. It's finally, that wheel is finally clicked over for him and stuff. Because you even by the end, he finally realizes, no, those are the good guys. The X-Wings are the good guys.
Yes.
So he's starting to pay attention to things and things like that. He's starting to like listen and things like you're saying. And I love that. I love that. I also love this is just a cute little moment, or not a cute. This moment made me tear up this time watching it. Is when KB's talking about how she's scared to tell Fern that she can't do a lot of things sometimes because she can't do everything that Fern wants to do.
Yes.
And stuff. And she's worried about not having friends or something. And just that moment when he goes, you can be just not even thinking. She's like,
beautiful.
Besides, you can just be friends with me and Neil. You know,
it's just so real.
Just the smile on, just the small look that she gives him is beautiful. It's so heartwarming.
And it's so much funnier too, because this is maybe a sillier thing, but like I remember whenever girls, at least when we were that age, like when they would get into arguments, they were way more intense and way more real. But if I ever got into argument with my friend, like a guy, you know, my guy friends at that age, like they were always very they could be intense, but it was always very brief. Like, you know, like when Neil's like, we're lost, we're really lost, you know, and he's upset with Wim, but like it's very brief. Whereas you can tell this has been building up between these two girls this entire time. And, you know, Fern felt like she couldn't be a leader, even she had to be. And KB always felt like that, you know, she always had to, you know, hold herself back because, you know, Fern was naturally in charge. And like I just think it's a cool dynamic to see played on screen because as a teacher I see it constantly. I mean that's those are real relationships, you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean you're second fiddle. It just means that you bring a different thing to the table, whereas one kid's a little bit more forward, the other kid's a little more reserved. And when the reserved kid becomes more forward, that's when the forward kid gets freaked out. And that's exactly what happens this episode.
Oh, yeah.
You get the kid that's like, oh my God, I just got stood up to. She's not supposed to do that. That's not her character. But that's the thing. That's the beauty of the moment is everyone has that within them. All it takes, and this show is teaching this to you subconsciously, just stand up for yourself. Even if you do not agree, disagree. That is okay. It always comes back around. They're going to be friends after that. And the fact that they go on separate journeys, literally, it's like its own like mythology. It's kind of incredible. They go and have a traumatic event. And then they come back together and they're like, we're fixed now. And that's what friendship should be. And a lot of friendships start and happen and end that way. Like it's just part of it. And yeah, I just think it's such and I like how much of an episode this was. This wasn't a part of a story. This was a serious episode with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And they all, by the end of it, have that teamwork where they did not have that at the beginning or even throughout this whole entire episode. And they all just weave back together. And then I think it's pretty cool. And we'll talk about it later too. But like that's the first canon Old Republic ship, right? I mean, is that what isn't that what it's insinuating or like I don't know.
I mean everything. I mean,
the design is
they're playing it very
modern.
fast and loose timetable wise. You know, like we've all been engaging in the how old is Old Republic, like the little idiosyncrasies there. You know, like in the way that they talk about Tak Rennet, like it's like they. Like at one moment they're talking about him like he is this ancient legendary pirate, and in the next moment the way Brutus is like Tak Rennet's dead. It sounds like it almost sounds like Brutus going, he's dead and we all heard about it.
Yes.
Like you like and I think it's very interesting that like you can't quite tell whether or not like all of everything is thousands of years old or if this was like a decade ago.
Exactly.
But with the kids, one like quick note from me, and then I'll shut up for a moment. What I do really like is that throughout the show, up to this point, the kids would adventure, they'd be courageous, they would do something, and then they'd end up over their head, and then inevitably either Jod or SM-33 would bail them out.
Yes.
You know, SM-33 wakes up, helps them get like unfuck the ship.
Yeah.
Jod shows up and buys them from the Trokai,
Mm-hmm.
or the Trock, or however the hell you said it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Jod, the kids could not make it through that like resort place by themselves. Jod had to navigate them. Jod had to get them through the booby traps. Like it's all of these things that like the adult has to come in and go, okay, it's time for me to act. And what I really love about this episode is while they're all on their own, what we get to see is sorry, Katie. Don't tune into a spoiler cast when you haven't seen the episode. I'm kidding. I love you. You're my favorite J-Ro. But
that's obvious.
She's the only one of you two who didn't scream at me, kill my like haunted patron, and say eat your fucking pasta. So anyway, but like this episode here was so just watch it on the TNAP stream, Katie. This episode here, they have no adult safety net. They have no.
No, they don't.
They have nobody to call in for backup. And what I love that they realize is that the final hurdle they needed to defeat is their own like inner battle.
Yes.
With Whim, it is slow down, listen, feel, don't think, trust your instincts. Your mind should be here and now where it belongs. With KB, it's learning to stand up for herself. With Neil, it's very much the same thing. Where like Neil has been getting more and more emboldened as we've gone, to the point where he just kind of looks at Fern and he's like, hey, asshole, I'm not built like you. I can't climb this ladder. Most of my body is torso and trunk. My legs aren't like yours. Slow down. So so you have KB having that moment of you can speak your mind. You have the moment with Neil where he goes, you can put your foot down. Which are related. They're cousins of each other. They're not the same thing. There's a difference between going, hey, I didn't appreciate that, and going, hey, you need to fucking listen for a second.
Yes.
Those are two different things. Whim has to learn to, kind of slow down and listen. Fern is in a similar boat of you need to stop, listen, and accept that you can't be the front of the pack all the time.
Yes.
And then once they all collectively get over that, they tackle objectively the most difficult task that has been put in front of them together. No ancient pirate droid, no burnout Jedi, pirate, captain, fucking whatever, to get involved. It is just them that have to take out this like junk behemoth. They have to jump on top of the shit. They have to do the most death-defying, quite literally, insane shit they've done yet with no help. And they could only do it once they got over these hurdles. And then you get, Star Wars has never been subtle, but the beauty of never being subtle is that you get to lean into visual metaphor really fucking hard. With the Onyx Cinder shedding its decrepit, rusted, outer casing and become this new, beautiful, sleek, young.
It is
ending right there where he's a keepsies on the new ship.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
Well, the fact that they are and to our knowledge, they're going to go right back to Atten and do this. But we have to highlight one thing. I think we nailed the kid story really well on this. Nathan's been showing up in every one of our comments. Everyone, I gotta say, I love you, Nathan.
Thank you for showing
up.
Thank you,
Nathan. Nathan needs to go and follow TNAP. That's the next step. You will really, if you like what we do here, TNAP takes all the other nerd culture things that Bombadcast does not cover, and they cover it. Superman.
Imagine
trailer.
if Bombadcast was like 5 times a week or whatever, however many times Jared does a show. I was gonna say.
We say that knowing I A, took a month and a half off, B, almost quit the podcast this year.
Yes. But he still hustles. That won't stop
still
him. But
still
Nathan, we're gonna talk about Jod's speech in a second. I gotta say this though. How does she make some of the greatest episodes? How does she make some of the best?
She's
Star
a visionary
Wars ever. I'm
She's a
so
visionary.
serious. Like, and it has nothing to do with her dad. I mean, I'm sure it has a little bit in terms of like was on set for stuff, but like I know her dad's not
That
like
was a
over her
good
shoulder,
class.
like do that. You know what I mean? That's a master class to
Right.
have. But like, let's cite her episodes. Okay, episode 4 of The Mandalorian, episode the Bo-Katan episode. What would that be? Episode
5?
Episode 5, season 2. No, episode
Yeah.
5.
4, yeah, 3 or 4.
It was. I think it might have been 3. It was 3. It was definitely 3 because it was the frog lady. Then that episode.
Yeah, that's right.
Then and then Book of Boba Fett, the best episode, right beside Dave Filoni's of Book of Boba Fett, which is the one where they go to the ring place. That was episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett.
5, yeah.
And then she did the pirate one. She did the pirate episode of Mando season 3. So like I've just did she do Ahsoka? I don't think she did Ahsoka.
I don't think she had an episode of Ahsoka.
I don't think so, but
Let me see. Hold on.
I mean,
Fact check that before Eli starts correcting.
I know, but she just doesn't miss y'all like at all. No, I don't think she did not do Ahsoka. She just never misses. Honest to God.
No,
and
she
voiced
doesn't.
Yaddle. I forgot she voiced Yaddle on the set of Kill the Jedi. But she just nails every live action show she's ever been given. And yes, Nathan, to finally tie it back into it, this was one of the most epic speeches in Star Wars. This was just so real. And this is to me where like I've been watching it. I'm like, you know what? Jude Law's good. But I feel like any adult could play this role. Like if Woody Harrelson wasn't already a character, Woody Harrelson would have been an amazing Jod and all.
Oh, Woody would have made a great Jod.
Like I always think like even someone really weird, maybe someone a little too old, like God, why am I forgetting his name? Ted Danson. I feel like Ted Danson would have been a great like older John.
That's a
fun
pick.
You know what I mean?
That is an out of left field that I love.
That just like someone you can see their sweet face and trust them. But I've been kind of like Jude Law's fine. This shit when he like yells and gets into the speech, I was like, I had chills watching it this time, and I was like, this is such a good moment for Star Wars.
He got into the old like Southern preacher type thing. What's the last line? What's the last line?
What's the last time? What is it? And they repeat it. Oh, we'll watch it.
Something to praise Bryce Dallas Howard's direction real quick. You know, I think it was Star Wars Explained with the hilarious thumbnail for their Q&A a couple weeks ago with like the biggest Chekhov's gun with that gigantic turret
without dying. Right, like this way, you know, he's a capable first mate and stuff, but you know, he won't be able to give you what I can give you. And
it's such a good beat,
the gall of that, and that Brutus just like doesn't even like, you know, because he can tell, because you can hear they're starting to like agree with him throughout the room. You know, he tells that Kona right there, hey, I failed you. You should have had your own fleet. You should have had this. You know, and just. Man, I love that. I love that shit. I just love the whole. Again, it feels so. It's that Treasure Island vibe of like, you know, like we are going where the wind takes us. That's what we're trying to do. We just, like you said, we just want our piece of the pie.
But one unfortunate thing about all this, and this is the one thing that this is the only caveat of the show, which is there's still not good people and they're still pirates, even though they want nothing more than that. It boils down to the fact that like. They're still going to pillage and plunder and destroy. You know what I mean? Like they're going to go to Oda At-Atten with malicious intent. They just are.
Right.
And like, unfortunately, you do want to root for them, but that's what makes them pirates. They're never going to be good people. And like, even, I mean, if you watch, it's romanticized, right? And like, you know, pirates, they have a reason they are pirates. And maybe these people have all really struggled and they found community in this place. But the thing is, and this is something that I've talked to my father-in-law about. There's a difference between being in a biker club, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm trying to give you an innuendo. He's in a club, and there's a difference between being a pirate, because pirates are not looking out for each other, even though they're trying to. And like, you see that manifest aboard the Onyx Cinder, like they killed themselves to the point. Whereas like, if you're in a club, like a biker club, most of the time, there is a leader, but you're all in it because you want to be a part of this organization because you were isolated by society in some capacity. And maybe you did have bad tendencies. Maybe you are a murderer or a drug dealer, but we can all be in this together and be a part of a group together and effectively do something or serve some sort of greater purpose. Whereas pirates, they're not serving a greater purpose at all. They're serving the purpose of themselves. That's why Jack Sparrow always ends up alone, regardless if he has a crew or not. It's always about who? Jack Sparrow. It's always about the compass. It's always about, that aspect of what a pirate is. And Andy, I know Andy was on that first stream with you, or second stream, a few weeks ago, Jerry, and they were saying how all about pirate culture and really breaking it down.
They had a lot of interesting things about, absolutely.
And this to me though has been super intriguing in the sense that like they just want to come out on top and have their own respective lives somewhere else. And unfortunately they're still cheating and stealing to get to that. And like, as much as I want to root for them, they're not good people. And it sucks. And it should make you feel conflicted. And I think it's about having hopes and dreams. And look, that Nathan said it best. Really just about having hope and dreams and wanting to better their lives. They do, but they're not going about it the right ways. And that's the George Lucas of it all, right? Like it's easy to be angry. It's easy to be quick, but having patience and being kind is so much more, you know what I mean?
I think that what I think is so fascinating about the exact dichotomy you're setting up, Scotty, and not for this to get really fucking real fast.
No, let's do it.
If there is one frontier that Star Wars has not grappled with, in a real direct way, aside from a little bit in the prequels and a little bit in the Clone Wars, it is the hyper-capitalism of the Star Wars galaxy.
Yes.
Like, and obviously George in the prequels gestures at the fact that it is absurd that the Trade Federation, that like this massive conglomerate corporation has a seat in the Senate, as does the banking clan, as does the techno union.
Yes.
And that all of these like colossal corporations play such a pivotal role in galactic politics. And in the real world, it's that weird conversation that, a lot of real world politicians never really want to have, where everybody wants to talk about being tough on crime, but nobody wants to talk about being tough on poverty and how the highest, exactly.
Yeah.
Every place with the highest crime rate also suspiciously also has the highest rate of poverty, has the highest rate of people barely scraping by, and people who are forced into situations where, yes, they make a choice that is objectively bad, where they are selling things that are inevitably going to cause the death and destruction of people's lives, where they are engaged in behaviors and weird interstitial politics that are going to end in the ruin of countless lives. But at the end of the day, it is the benign, socialized murder of countless others that force that hand. Not to get real fucking real for a second, but like it is why in the real world there is such a benign, fuck it about the whole Luigi Mangione situation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come out here and look somebody in the eyes and say murder is objectively good. It's not. However, that big caveat, I have a hard time not looking at the situation and go, what else did you expect to happen?
Sure.
And have somebody who makes billions off of the suffering of normal people. And a concept like piracy is the obvious next step to that.
Yes.
The galaxy is again, coming back to the text here, the galaxy has been plunged into a deeper state of chaos than it was during the Galactic Civil War. It is in this transitional period from an empire back into a republic that isn't quite sure
what it wants to be.
It's terrified of being anything like the empire,
of course.
But at the same time, it can't negate the fact that there's so much imperial infrastructure, because that imperial infrastructure is Republic infrastructure from the last government.
Exactly.
So, so of course you have all of these people who are who when you have the flourishing, black market economy. There are entire regions of galactic space that are dominated by a fucking drug cartel.
Yeah, dude.
With the Hutts, like again, we're so in this shit, and it's one of those moments where it kind of hit me like a freight train playing Star Wars Outlaws when I got excited that I was in good with the Hutts, because now I got to go into Jabba's palace and talk to Jabba, look at Han Solo on the wall, that I'm working for the fucking Hutt cartel. I am working for an empire built on drugs, slavery, and murder. Like that. Yeah. So all of these folks. Yeah, maybe you can get an honest living as a freighter hauler, is a freight hauler across the galaxy, and maybe you'll get attacked by pirates. Fuck it, I'll be a pirate.
Yeah.
So like everything you were saying, but it is at its core, it is the adversarial relationship between privilege, poverty, and crime. That it is, these folks on At-Aten, they live in just in opulence. Compared to any of these other characters, compared to any of these other characters, again, we all forget, like, Rey Skywalker's fucking homeless when we meet her. She's living in a bombed out ruin. You have all this opulence. Of course, these guys are going to come in and fucking ransack it.
Yeah.
Of course, because you have this old Republic mint, but then you have that other flip side of how neoliberal capitalism turns into fascism really easily, because we're all living in this big brother weird ass police state on At-Aten with all these fucking camera droids. That pendulum is so complicated.
Politics out of my Star Wars, Jared.
I know, I'm sorry.
Come
I'm
on,
sorry.
man. No,
you ever hear about how the Ewoks are the Viet Cong?
No, but Jared,
you're right.
Good point.
You're right.
You bring up a beautiful point, because this show has, and it's so funny, and this is me being kind of an asshole, but like, it seems that everyone watches a show like Andor, and I'm not trying to dog on it, because I do love that show. I'm going to start my rewatch, but everyone goes, "This is it. They're finally tackling the difficult stuff." But a show like Skeleton Crew ultimately is doing the same exact thing, even better, without even saying it. They just are.
It's this weird, like, again, Andor is an incredible piece of Star Wars storytelling.
It is, and it's.
But the thing that I find so frustrating about the people who are like, Star Wars is the only, or Andor is the only Star Wars story that is like even remotely interested in the politics that were foundational to Star Wars and deep. And it's like, I'm sorry, if you need your Star Wars to say throw a brick at a fascist, you haven't been paying attention. Like, it has always been here. Everybody loves to be like, oh, look at Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, and then look at Andor. I'm sorry, the two shows that are in concert with each other about a diaspora people who have been scattered to the winds and shattered by decades upon centuries of warfare and being sold out to the highest bidder to fight a war for them, and then get double crossed and then fall apart, all trying to rediscover who they are, what their heritage actually is, grappling with the concept of how when religions or even cultures are driven underground, they become inherently more fundamentalist and become more radical. And how do you grapple with that? How do you grapple with, oh shit, I realized I kind of grew up in a fundamentalist cult, but like, I understand more about my culture and my faith, that like, I'm cool with these guys as long as we set some boundaries. Like there are complex conversations happening in The Mandalorian and in Book of Boba Fett, silly chase scene with the mods aside, that are about, again, like a diaspora people trying to find their way after like being genocided like 3 times in a fucking row, and how they can find community not only with each other, but with their apostates and with their longtime enemies, the Jedi, another diaspora religious organization that's been exterminated 30 fucking times. Like, I'm sorry, I refuse to engage with this notion that because Andor has curse words and hookers, it's the only serious fucking Star Wars.
That was a good preaching moment, dude. But I hold all your same sentiments there, because with a show like this, they are tackling difficult things, and like even the capitalism of it all, like, and we can see what capitalism is doing to the music industry right now. I mean, this is a heavy thing, but like, capitalism is piracy, like at this point for the music industry. We went from a state where you could only buy the record, or then you could buy the 45 single. Then you can buy the tape or the tape single. And then you get to the point now where you can buy the CD in the 90s. Well, then the CD became the MP3. The MP3 became the sole thing. The MP3 then was pirated. Then the government said that's no good. Artists said that's no good.
You wouldn't
can't do
pirate
that.
a refrigerator.
And then a company comes in. They're like, hey, we are, Spotify. Hey, we are Apple Music. Hey, we are Tidal. Hey, we're all these people. You can pay us a monthly subscription, have all the music you want, and we're gonna go fuck the artists now because they get half a penny per every stream. It went from being get $1 or 50 cents to now they get half a penny. Piracy ultimately, and you can see this in the First Order in the sequel trilogy, piracy does breed into capitalism. And these guys, their desires are beautiful here. I mean, like we've said, he just wants to have a farm, an ocean farm. That's all he wants. But the ways in which you go about it are not the right ways. And I don't know. I know we could talk about the show forever. We need to start wrapping up soon. But all I gotta say is, and we didn't bring this up, and this is kind of random, but there's a reason these guys are here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is not for a deep rooted Star Wars fan. These people at this spa and what this spa represents is essentially what happens when you have too much money. And when money is
it's
something
capitalism.
you're not even. Yes, this is pure capitalism. The mud baths
This
at a
is
place.
This is trickle down economics at work, kids. Right here.
And I mean, we could do a whole episode at some point about the complex financial politics of all of these mega corporations that threw in with the Separatist Alliance.
Yes,
it is everything that's so complicated about Star Wars and its politics. That there are inherently revolutionary things being told in Star Wars, that is inextricable. It's in the OT, it's in the PT, it's in the ST, it's in all of the shows, every single fucking one. And but it still remains the one thing that Star Wars has not fully grappled with. Almost every single one of Star Wars pirate outlaws either dies a horrific, vile, evil mafia don, or they join the fucking military. Yeah. That is the only two paths for a criminal in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Again, Han Solo grows up in abject fucking poverty.
Yes.
Cartoonish. Industrial revolution. He's a
Dickensian.
Children yearn for the mines shit.
He's a Dickensian, works for Fagin.
Yes. And he joins the military, or you become Jabba the Hutt, or Prince Shizor, or any of those scum fucks in the Pike Syndicate.
Yep.
And you die cartoonishly evil. It's the one thing that we really haven't gotten into is this idea of these corporations deserve to get hit and hit hard. It's I had a lot of mixed opinions about Star Wars Outlaws. The fact that story basically ends on, I'm going to keep ripping off these, quintuplinaires until my heart gives out and they can suck it. If I have one heaping bit of praise for that story, it's that. Is that there is no K-Vest joins the rebellion, or, K-Vest becomes fucking Jabba. No, I'm going to keep ripping you guys off. And you should.
Yes. Yeah. Look, I'm so glad you brought all this up because this is some difficult things that, and I'm going to say it not in spite of anyone else we worked with that are contemporaries, but most people don't get into this difficult of a topic, especially on a live stream. Some people script this shit out and they talk about it. I mean, really.
Yeah.
And we've got friends that do this professionally, and I haven't listened to Force Center's review, and I haven't listened to a couple other people that I listen to regularly, but
I have to hold it off because I know I'm doing a season review. And that's always my terror, is because I know I've been so Force Center pilled that and just because of my own media consumption habits, I know all of our opinions typically align with that show, but I get so paranoid that I'm just going to accidentally repeat
what they've been saying.
Ken, Joseph, and Jennifer were saying, that I have to put it off, and then I'm going to binge all of their Skeleton Crew coverage. But
I'm the same way. I haven't been listening until after we do our streams. But that being said, and all that being said, I I just know this show is going in a direction that I don't think any of us was expecting in that way, to tackle such difficult topics in a way that it has. And Star Wars has been really good about that, but they've also been kind of more blasé about it. And I love the Acolyte. It did tackle some difficult stuff, but compared to what we've been getting in this show in terms of subtext and intensity, I know that show is more about the Jedi and the flaws of a Jedi and what that looks like. This show has been way more topical in the sense that it's covering things in this real life world that are difficult to discuss with people. And I do hate that it's going to get this is a show for the kids. And I'm glad it does get that, because maybe it's going to teach kids subconsciously why certain things are good and why certain things are bad. But I don't know. It's just, it's gotten to a point with this show where every episode's a pleasant surprise. And I can't wait for next week. And I kind of want to speculate on what next week's going to be, if y'all don't mind.
Oh yeah, because I want to talk about the John of it all so badly.
So I'll pull up, and I've been doing this at the end of every stream, just to see what is left. And there's a few more things that I think a lot of people have forgotten from the trailers that are still left, which is surprising. Because I think everyone thinks that the show is already bled out.
Usually you have like from the first 3 episodes and that's it.
Yeah.
They have pulled throughout the entire series.
The entire series. And so far, if I'm going to be real with y'all too, this is probably the best first season of any Star Wars show. Like, it's just like, I love Mando season 1, but like first seasons are kind of hard to nail, and this is it. So yeah, we can watch just through it without any sound, but we've pretty much seen everything except for one particular shot in this trailer, which I think is important. But I'm ready to get back to the parents. I don't know about y'all, but I am ready to get back to the parents.
I want to. Yeah, I think we're overdue for what's going on with them.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, who wants to start a betting poll about whether or not we see Order 66 next week?
Fuck. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Damn it. God
I don't. What's the over?
I don't think we need it.
Including Jedi.
I don't think we need it.
Because I'm of 3 minds with Jod. I am of 3 minds with Jod, and I'm not quite sure where I land. And
what's your 3 minds?
This is one of the few times that like I've had like, ooh, here are my like 2 competing theories, and I really like one more than the other. I would be equally satisfied with any outcome. With Jod, I think one of 3 things, or maybe a combination of some of these, is true. 1, Jod is a burnout Jedi. I was talking to Taylor about this before I got on. She's saying like he was probably in the ballpark of like Obi-Wan in the Phantom Menace, like elder Padawan, ready to take the trials, but like never did, right? So it is, maybe he's like a burnout Padawan who was like, again, that high volume. I've been hungry my whole life. I have Yoda and all these people telling me, adventure, excitement, Jedi craves not these things. No, fuck you. I do crave these things. And he left the order and went his own way. And since he never made knight or master, he doesn't have to be counted in the Lost 20. So maybe he goes his own way there. There's also the Order 66 happens, and he did not leave the order willingly. The order just caved in on itself because of Order 66. And then he fucks off and turns to a life of crime. And I think the third one is that he has always just been a Force-sensitive street urchin who, because of the like prolific presence the Jedi had in the galaxy, Jod picked up all of these very vapid platitudes with none of the background to them. Very much like the Martez sisters with their relationship with Luminara and Dole. Where they're like, oh yeah, like, oh, they're one with the Force, yada, 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 jerk off, piss off. I think Force-sensitive street urchin is the least likely.
Really? Because that's my favorite.
I like that a lot. I think it's the least likely because I do truly think that all of the times Jod has leaned into playing a Jedi to these kids, with the Force provides, your focus determines your reality, like that I do think he's legitimately leaning on things that he learned, especially because of that little bit about attachments in the last episode. To me, listen, you don't want attachments. Attachments aren't good for you. And Jod is taking this very cynical, very Jedi bad in the real world, approach to the traditional Jedi teachings. And I do think he is either a burnout Padawan or a Jedi who had to find his own path after narrowly surviving Order 66. I've seen people throw out the Inquisitor thing. I'm not predicting that. If it happens, I'm never going to shut up about it.
Of course you won't.
My guy's canon,
oh, he was so much like Fabian Martel.
Yeah, he was. If that happens, everybody owes me a fucking apology. Everybody owes me an apology.
I won't. I'm not dogging on you on that. No,
I know, but yeah, I think that I do, because again, there's just something to that pithy way. He's like, attachments, you don't want that. You don't need attachments. That to me screams he is talking out of his ass with a version of a lesson he learned that he bastardized, no pun intended, to like justify the life he's living now.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna lock in either Burnout Padawan or Order 66 Survivor. Either way, Jod Nanawood, whatever his real name is, at one point or another was a Jedi.
Yes, definitely was a Jedi. Definitely was a Jedi. I don't think he's a force using street merchant. I think he was a Jedi. I don't know if he left too young, or I mean, they could really do some cool trickery, but it's not the kind of show that I want to see that in the sense of like CGI trickery. Like, I don't want to see a young Liam Neeson. If they do it, freaking cool. But like, it's not the kind of thing. That's the one thing, and I'm not going to dog on other creators. And there's certain creators out there that are like, and this is going to happen. Like the Easter egg hunter people that absolutely irk Jared and I to no end when it comes to Star Wars, because it's always just cancer, just terrible takes.
No,
and they're like,
I love that shit though.
No, it's the people who don't know shit about Star Wars. I know you're joking, and I don't want to gatekeep like discussing Star Wars, but there are people who have a legitimate talent for talking about like cape shit, like Marvel and DC and like other properties similar to that, who are very talented in exploring those things. That when it comes to Star Wars, it just turned like, I'm convinced they think that AI trailer of a Keanu Reeves Revan movie is happening. Like, like truly, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, talking about legends and canon, like they're the same thing. Like, it's just it poisons the well, and it makes the conversations harder to have.
If I see one more person on Facebook share a fan-made poster of a movie that is not happening, I swear to God.
Oh, they're not fan-made anymore. That's all AI now.
So hold on.
It's all AI, but they're still sharing it like, oh, I can't wait. We're gonna get our tickets now.
Regardless of all that, because I know there's one that I hate that I don't want to talk about right now. But there's a couple of them that are just like, I want to kill whoever like made this Facebook page. I just want to murder them, like in cold blood. Like, why did Sam die? Why did Sam from finance die? Well, some crazy guy on Facebook actually got it for making a Finding Nemo 3 trailer. Anyway, regardless of all that,
it would be Finding Marlin is what it would be.
This right, it would be. That'd be awful. This shot's not on here, and there's a couple things we can look at from this shot.
I was gonna say, I completely forgot about this shot.
Kona. And I think that's Silvo with his helmet on.
Yeah.
As I think he dons the helmet, which the kids have not seen yet. No one's talking about this. The kids have not seen the helmet yet. And this is even weirder. She is sending a message from Atten. And I don't know how she got the message out, but that's Fern's mom. And this to me is a pretty big indicator that this is the next episode or the final episode. You know what I mean? There's this shot that's really interesting, and there's one more shot I want to share with y'all that I think is the ultimate shot, and I don't know why they let this one leak and no one's talking about it. There's the creatures feature that they made with that had the Daniels, or maybe it's the Daniels one. I think it might be the Daniels one. Let me look that up. This one, can y'all still see my screen?
Yep.
Just making sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this one shot in the Daniels one, which is obviously highlighting them, post their Oscar win, and the fact that they filmed this before they even had their Oscar win is a big deal. This shot coming up right here, this is a huge shot. No one's talking about it. Literally, it's all of them in what appears to be the what was his name?
Overseer's
the supervisor's
office.
Yeah. Like
it's the overseer, right? Or is it the supervisor?
Supervisor? I don't remember, but this is huge to me. All four of them back together.
Yeah. I was just say, I think I went to BioShock there for a second.
Oh, so
hey, Techno Union. Wat Tambor is the overseer of the Techno Union.
Oh, there we go. But like, look at this.
Fuck you, Eli.
This to me is kind of a big indicator that they somehow get in. He's got a walkie-talkie in his left. Wim has a walkie-talkie in his right hand, so they must infiltrate it in some capacity. And of course, the one big indicator is what could the supervisor be? Because we had that one plate at Akron where the head was gone, and then of course the pirate's face is missing in the most recent message from him. So
I really think the supervisor is tech rented. I think I think that's a dead ringer.
Yeah, it's just so interesting to see the look they have on their faces in this shot. It's like almost like a hopeless. Every one of them looks devastated, and look, you can even see that the actress that plays Fern is crying, like straight up, like look, no sniffling at all, concern. I don't know how they let this let out, even when it's not in the Daniels episode. I don't know. Maybe I'm over speculating, but like this is the fact that they show this visually is going to be very interesting. All the parents and the kids infiltrate, and we haven't seen Neil's dad, but they've got that poster board out of him, so he could show up and wreck shit. He's an elephant guy, but I don't know. I'm excited. We've got a lot to look forward to, genuinely.
Hell yeah, very excited.
That's my speculation there, fellas. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah,
I love you guys. I love you guys. Thanks everyone else for joining as well. It's been a very active chat. Love all of you very much. Shout out to everyone that joined tonight. We've got Woodsy, Moonwalker Mary 86, Nathan, of course, Eli, Brian, 8984M. It's kind of cool to see the TNAT people cross into to Bombad. Of course, Miss Taylor. I can't miss Miss Taylor.
Yeah,
Buck
producer Miss Taylor, super producer Miss Taylor.
We've got, of course, I'm still looking through. We've got Cooper, love Cooper, my wife, Katie. Let's see. I saw a few more. I don't want to miss anybody just for the sake of shouting everybody out. I saw Podcast of the Will. Shout out to Nick. And I saw Streaming Star Wars. Shout out to Nick as well. Squatch. I don't know who that is. Eric Elliott.
I think that's Paco. I think that's
okay.
Because that's a knowledge fight joke. It's a
Reagan.
Okay. But no, thank you everyone for joining tonight. This has been an absolute blast. I just love the energy of this show and the energy of this chat, and these streams have been really good for us. If I'm going to be honest with y'all, they've been a lot of fun and being able to cover all this. So, but yeah, no, Jared, I know y'all are preparing to record something. Hopefully, Bloom will go back and watch this. But what's in the works? I'll let Jerry and Jared hype this up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, if everything goes according to plan, the end begins. The final battle with Salvage is upon us. Ionized Bastards season 3, final season. We're gonna start recording here soon, and man, I'm excited. I won't give too much away. Michael is such an incredible DM. We were 2 seasons in a row where I will go to Michael. 3 seasons, honestly. Because even though the Fantasy Flight stuff was not as user-friendly as Star Wars 5e is, every season I've gone to Michael with like an insane request that he is like fully honored. Right. Season 2, I was like, I want a mechanic that will punish me for acting like a violent lunatic in combat. And then he created Cycle of Hate. And, Season 2 spoilers, Fabian has his purified lightsaber, and he has his old Jedi lightsaber back too. And it's gonna be interesting seeing how that factors in, that Fabian has 2 weapons. What are we gonna do with that? And Michael, I had some ideas and Michael entertained them. And we have a lot of cool stuff cooking. This is the first time I'm going into a season like equally excited for story and just like how this is going to play, like game mechanics wise. Because I think I accidentally got Michael to let me cheat. I think Fabian is going to be actually broken this season in terms of his capacity to fight. So yeah, very excited. Ionized Bastard season 3 coming soon. Jesus Christ, I forgot.
And I'm the robot.
Yes, and Jerry's the robot. Hold
Jerry
on.
I'm the robot.
Jerry is the heart and soul of Ionized Bastards. Like legit, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. You like you are our baby.
It feels
Groot.
good though.
You're our baby Groot. Like there is so
true,
much.
Yeah.
So
I'm
much
the baby
of
Gronk.
the pathos of Guardians is Groot and Rocket, and you fulfill both of those character roles simultaneously. And
that's beautiful.
Some of the best moments of Ionized Bastards come from 4D. Like unironically, I accidentally ended up being the only Force user in the party, and Star Wars bends towards the Force and its storytelling. And I have apologized off camera many times for accidentally pulling focus in a way I didn't intend to. That's why I'm excited for our next season. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Where I won't be the only Force user. Thank God. But yeah, I can't wait for Bastard season 3. It's going to be incredible. And in terms of other crossover material, from me and Jerry to me and Scotty, Scotty's going to be coming on my other show here soon.
Yes, I am. So I've recently watched the wonderful anime Neon Genesis Evangelion, and so usually with these breaks, I usually take it real easy. I try to be more creative and do stuff, and I actually, for the first time in like maybe 5 years of me being a teacher, like I actually took it easy, and I've got free day all day tomorrow, and I'm gonna watch a couple of other movies. But I watched all of Neon Genesis Evangelion because I wanted to watch an anime that was somewhat not brief, I would say, but like more concise than like
it's a season of television plus a few movies, as opposed to like One Piece or Dragon Ball that are just like, seasons upon seasons upon episodes upon episodes.
A little daunting.
Yeah, like my roommate Matt Hawkins, who's a really good musician. We lived together for a year when I was still in college, and he was like, "You want to watch Naruto?" I'm like, "Sure." I would watch episodes on and off. And I'm like, "What episode is this?" He's like, "It's like episode 650." I'm like, 650. He goes, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Swallowed your tongue when he said
and he goes, "Yeah." I was like shocked. I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Well, this is." I mean, and then the next thing is like Naruto Shinshin or whatever, and then Boruto. I was like there is, and he goes, I'm like, "How many are there collectively?" He's like, "About 1,200." I'm like, and like, how long are they? Like, they're 20 minutes each. I'm like, that would take me. If I were to watch them like every day, that would take me like 7 or 8 years.
That's why there's a lot of episode guides. Because again, like the term filler originates in manga and anime circles, where it would literally be stories that exist because the show is caught up to the manga and they don't want to shatter canon, which still happens anyway, or the manga is slowing down so that the anime can do what it needs to do. So like that's where that term originates, and then every time something that we think doesn't immediately fulfill the plot, we call it filler now, because words mean nothing.
And I've learned this is that when you watch an anime that is like truly planned out, like Neon Genesis Evangelion, it's 26 episodes, 22 minutes apiece, including the main theme, which is god tier, and you watch it and
Cruel Angel's Thesis is one of the best pieces of music I've ever heard in my life.
Anyway,
I love that shit. I love that shit.
I watched all of it, and I started it not last Friday, but the previous Friday. So I've been, tomorrow will be 2 weeks that I started it, and now I'm on the last like 3 movies. So I'm gonna blow through all of them tomorrow. And I've never been.
There's 4 movies on
Amazon. Okay. Well, I watched End of, so I got the other 3.
4.
I think
other 4.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, text me those names again because I don't want to mess it up. So all that being said, I've been watching the show, and like the first like 18 episodes, you're like, okay, I can see where this is going. And then the last like 6 of the first season or whatever the show, you're just like, oh, okay, no. I literally couldn't recall it. So Jared and I are going to be covering it on the comic book cast.
No, Pro and Noob. It's
Pro and
so
Noob, sorry.
Mitch is part of
Is-
Comic Book Cast.
yes.
He has his own channel, Mitch692, where he does which one of his shows on his solo channel is Pro and Noob. Where the main premise of it is he's taking me through anime for the first time and doing like reviews of each episode. Little bit of Star Wars sizzle. Will be, I believe, through January. We did a little mini season. It was my reward for surviving Neon Genesis, because Mitch's whole thing was, I've watched so little anime. How about we throw him into the fucking deep end with Neon Genesis? But what you were saying, like, it is the trade-off. It's, you can either watch an anime that will take you your entire life to finish, like One Piece.
You'll only watch it through once. Yeah.
Or you can watch something that is so succinct and comparatively so short that is so fucking heavy and complicated.
Just tight, man.
But yeah, so he was like, if I'm only going to get one shot at this, I'm shoving him in at the deep end with Mitch's favorite anime. And as my reward, there's going to be a mini season about the Tartakovsky Clone Wars.
Oh, see, that's beautiful.
Where I'm the pro.
Perfect trade-off.
Yeah, it was my reward for surviving Evangelion. So we'll be doing that, and then we're going to have Scotty on to talk about Neon Genesis and how I spread the plague of human instrumentality to him.
It's really good, aside
It's
from
incredible.
all the weird 8th grade porn stuff. But that's neither here nor that's for a whole different discussion later.
Now
That's
you
why
have
I made Katie laugh because we were at a game store and they had like statues of Ray and
Asuka.
and I'm like, that's the show I watched. She goes, oh, okay. I'm like, they're in 8th grade. She's like, oh. I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
But like, that's a whole different conversation. But I don't know. The show itself is, she called him 8th grade. What you call him? What do we call him? I have to get her in here. I don't know. I said 8th grade porn statues, and we both laughed at it.
That's not what I thought that was.
Well, it's so funny. Scotty, you and I were talking about it before we got on about like Neon Genesis Evangelion covers the concept of like pubescent sexuality with such a delicate, precise touch.
Not heavy-handed at all.
Like it is like there are like so many moments in this show that approach it from a very mature and respectful point of view, very real way, because like the main conceit of the show is that it's all about like our personal humanity, how we see ourselves, how we see others, how we see ourselves in others. It is all about our connection to our common man, spiritually, emotionally, metaphysically, and in time sexually. And like there are a lot of like really complicated metaphors about sex in this show that have a lot to do with puberty.
Yeah.
That are really complicated and beautiful in many ways. And then there are some times where it's just a really tight ass shot, you know, and granted, like the show handles it so much better than some of the later movies do.
Oh, I'm not looking
because
forward
most
to
of
that.
the, because like again, in the show's defense, a lot of the like hypersexualization is on the one adult woman who's important to the plot.
Yes, and she
not,
is 29.
not to sell Reeds goes short, but so much of it is on Masato, and it's just like, and again, you'll have a beautiful moment about interpersonal relationships of every variety, and then it'll be like, look at Masato's rack, and it's like
for real,
and like it slaps you in the face so hard, like out of nowhere.
But look, you said it.
You're like a freight train.
You said it best. If you're going into it thinking it's like a Campbellian arc, which I certainly did, there's this thing that Joseph Campbell always talks about where like in Japanese or Oriental mythology, it is nothing like the Western world in the sense of like, oh, you're set up to be this, and this is your life, and this is, you know, you see it all labor. It's not Harry Potter, it's not Superman, it's not Star Wars, it's not Transformers, it's not all these things that were so ingrained into our culture. It's so much more real. in the sense of like, you know, what it takes to be a hero. It honestly takes like the whole theme of love is destructive is that a whole show. Like love in Star Wars is like love is the answer to all things. And then you watch Neon Genesis or any sort of mythology or story from you know, I guess you could say that world of mythology. It's like, well, no, love can also be like terrifying. Love is a cold gun, you know? Like it's like I don't know, it takes a lot of what I was expecting out of the show and just flips it. And anyway,
Scotty,
we're gonna talk
I
about I gotta go to
the
bed.
fact that you said that. I want you to earmark the fact that you said all of that.
Okay, perfect. We'll do. I'll remember it. Jerry, you're falling asleep. What do you have going on? You're literally falling asleep. I see it. Look at him.
I'm not falling asleep. No, I just was like
Sorry, I
sitting
won't
here
stop
like
rambling.
no, you're good. It just sounds like every other anime. Yeah, just all that kind of stuff. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if y'all are selling me. I don't know if you're quite selling me with the eighth grade porn statues.
But they
It's
do
mostly not the 8th graders. There
But
are
here's the
moments where the
thing.
8th graders are naked and it's handled very delicately.
Yes.
Most of the sex stuff is happening about the grown
You don't
woman.
have to. You're just.
hold on.
You're just.
This is the thing I told Katie.
There are children in vats. There are children in medical vats.
Yes.
Right.
It's
fine.
very handled
I'm
very
joking.
clinically and in a very mature way.
What
And
I'm
then it will
saying
show
is-
you up a grown woman's skirt. Like
It's-
within moments of each other.
Hold on.
Anyway,
This is my thing.
Anyway.
This is my thing. Hold on. I will say one thing about this because I don't want to sound like a creep. I obviously teach
go to
kids
bed.
these age. No, I know Jay wants to go to sleep. No, I teach kids these age, and like the idea, like these characters they're depicting do not look like children. I want to preface though. They look like, I mean, like stereotypical, like 22-year-old, like the most
Like anime.
obnoxiously women with the most obnoxious attributes. Like they have like giant boobs and but like these do not look like children. So like that's one huge caveat that I
That
need
was
to,
one of my
to
big
preference.
things I said
It's
was like you could make these kids like sophomores in college and none of this story
Literally.
changes.
None of
you
this
could
story. I
just
don't know
make
why
them
they
20.
made it kids.
Literally just make them 20. I mean, I
Yes.
understand why they do because again, it's so much about like the developmental and what there
Sure.
are reasons for it. There are justifiable reasons within the narrative
Yes.
for the age, but you could very easily pivot them into young adulthood.
They should have.
Those
Anyway,
not
really
change
diving
that.
off at this point.
I don't want to turn Jerry off of it because I was not looking forward to that aspect of the show.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going to make me uncomfortable as an educator. Like genuinely, I was like, this
I
is
just
the one
that
thing
I know
am
that's
not about.
a big part of a lot of anime. Is
Yes.
just kind of it's
Especially
just
90s.
one of those things.
Yeah.
But
Well, 80s and it gets the worse. It gets worse the farther back you go. But anyway,
Yes.
Skeleton Crew was great. You guys are great. I had a good time.
I love you. Hey, shout out real quick again. 40. The big 4-0.
40.
This is very
Congratulations.
You did it.
Congratulations.
You
Who knows
did
if you make it to 50, we might have to put you through another great trial or something. We'll have to see.
Oh god.
Dude.
Be like,
From
hey,
episode
hey,
two
Jared, you
on.
want to circle back to that weird conversation about like the economic politics of Star Wars? Sure, and it's just going to be Scotty changing costumes for an hour and a half.
It's
I
not going
still
to be
wanna
just
know
Scotty
what
this
possessed
time.
you
It's
to
going to
do
be
that.
both of us.
If I'm gonna be real with you, I'll tell you exactly what it is. So what made me want to do that?
Did you say impossible?
I can't do that. I can't. That breaks canon. We got to do a stay bombed. Jared, give us a good stay.
I was going to say, I don't want to be uppity here, but this is my 40th episode. I don't get to say the thing because I know if I say it, you play it. But no. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you for anybody who was watching on the TNAP side of things for this as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for having me for 40 episodes. Can't wait for another 40. And you guys stay Bombad. Hit it.
Did you say impossible? Pasquale? Only kidding, Chucky. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share. What is it?
Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that
It's a dream we can make come true. I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see?